welcome to World Class Coaching. My name is Glenn Preston. Today I'm going to do a session on counter pressing. There are 4 styles of counter pressing. I'm going to tiptoe on sort of 3 styles and focus predominantly on just one main style today. But in summary, counter pressing is a synchronized team press as soon as you transition from attack to defense. So the second you lose the ball, you in a systematic fashion as a collective press to win that ball back as soon as possible. And the benefits are really twofold. 1, you get to win the ball back higher up the pitch, which is closer to goal. 2, you can prevent counter attacks. On average, it takes around 8 seconds for a team to go from its defensive organisation into its full attacking shape with maximum width, depth and attacking lines and such. And so this is why it's become quite famed for teams to try and win that ball back in 6-7 seconds. Barcelona was certainly famed for it in 2008 when Pep first took over. The first style I'm going to quickly look at is a full team counter press, probably made famous in the 1970s, particularly 1974 World Cup with Holland under Rinus Michels. And you can see here it's pretty simplistic. When you lose the ball, the full team presses towards the ball and its focus is entirely on where the ball is at, and everybody moves into hopefully applying maximum pressure. Now in today's game, with the technical players that are around today, this is less effective. It's why you don't see too many teams implementing this style of play. Up next we have the Leeway press, which is probably more famous by the likes of Jurgen Klopp. And what this is, it's a little bit similar to the last style. It is still pressing in relation to the position of the ball, but it's also combined with pressing the best passing options around the ball as well. So what will traditionally happen in a Leeway press is the nearest 3 or 4 players will press from different angles to try and cut off all passing options and to put maximum pressure in and around the player on the ball. But then the surrounding players might press the best 1 or 2 passing options to really restrict and suffocate the opposition as best they can. So we can see a couple of examples here of Borussia Dortmund. When they lose the ball, where the ball is, 3-4 players from surrounding areas will try and cut off all passing options to be able to limit any escape from this little zone of play. The third style of counter pressing is man-orientated, and the best example I can probably give, or the most efficient side I've seen doing this, was Jupp Heynckes Bayern Munich when they won the treble. And this is quite simple and straightforward as well in explanation, in the sense that when you lose the ball, you will instantly pressurise the first player on the ball to try and make them play backwards or sideways, which will then try and give the rest of the team time to go into a man-oriented press where you will cover all the near and surrounding options off the ball. So pressing the first player, now press the best options in order to try and provoke a mistake. You can see here the defender, man-orientated, going with him from the centre-back position, forcing him backwards and sideways. That will enable the rest of the team to get positioned so they can press the best passing options off the ball. And the fourth and final style of counter pressing is passing lane press. And this has been made more famous again by Barcelona, Pep Guardiola, etc. And this is about pressing the passing lanes, and often it's not about trying to press the player per se, it's more about trying to press the pass. And you do that by getting your body in between 2 players. So we can see here in this game against Wolfsburg, Bayern Munich in red, when they lose the ball they try to get bodies to prevent vertical passes to play forward, to try and force the opposition backwards and sideways like they do here. But then that buys the time for the rest of the team to get their bodies in between 2 players. And as I've mentioned, they're more interested in trying to intercept the pass than press the player, the passing lanes. They force out wide as well, where it's easier then to use cover shadow to screen passes into central areas. And this is what makes Bayern Munich such an effective defensive mechanism. See the striker Lewandowski, he's in between the centre-back and goalkeeper on that last example, and you see here again he's in between 2 centre-backs or defenders. There's a combination as well of using some of the others where you're pressing the best options off the ball, and the passing lane to play vertical passes is being cut off by the pressurisation there of Alonso. When it goes back in here you can see the curved run to prevent getting between 2 passers, forcing the play back to where all the pressure was, where all Bayern Munich's players were. So we can see here again the striker moves in between 2 players to keep them in this channel, to keep them in this half. The rest of them are screening their vertical passing options, forcing the play out wide, where again as soon as it does become in this wide area it becomes significantly easier for the rest of the team to get positioned to screen and prevent vertical passes, forcing yet again more backwards and sideways passes. So they lose the ball here. Can they stop the first player playing forwards? Buys him a little bit of time to prevent his vertical passing options, getting his body between 2 players, forces the play out wide. As a result, where then it becomes easy to overload. You can see they've got numerical supremacy and win the ball back. This is a great example for me because when you first see Wolfsburg on the ball here, there's 4 or 5 players with nobody around them. Look at the positions Munich take up. Striker to cut off the switch of play, pressing the nearest best passing option, pressuring the ball between 2 players, preventing his vertical passing options. Okay, no space to play through whatsoever, and they're gradually crowding the ball and the space the player in, so he has to go backwards. Again, curving that run between 2 players because all the players are on that side of the football pitch where they, Bayern Munich, need Wolfsburg to move back in towards. And it's a forced chip pass, and of course this would be a massive trigger to press because he's not in full control of it, where 2 or 3, 4 players would move in and they win that ball back. So can it be coached at lower level football? Yes, it's difficult, it's not easy. I'll show some examples of my university side, what I've coached to try and counter press. So in this first example, we're trying to stop the first player playing forwards, forcing them into the wide areas. We've got players here that are preventing passes down the line, body between 2 players. He's curved his run so he can't switch the play, and he's preventing his inside supporting options. So we're able to get an interception in. We're forcing the play, like I said, backwards and sideways. And alright, we haven't won the ball back on this one occasion, but we've managed to get every player back in behind the ball. Here we're in between positions between 2 players, and when we spot a trigger to go for it, we can double and treble press and win the ball back on the edge of the 18-yard box, and it results in a goal on this occasion. In this example, we're in transition. Can we stop the first player playing forwards? Okay, can we get in between? Can we prevent their switch of play by being between 2 players? You can see our attacking centre mid is blocking off players to defensive mid. There is still a passing lane, and we need to fill that off. My attacking centre mid recognises it and helps us win the ball back. My winger's just lost the ball, but she reacts instantly, blocks off her vertical passes, my striker blocks off the inside, and everyone else moves into the passing lanes that they can get in, and that's what enables us to win the ball back on the edge of the 18-yard box. That's the university side again. We're here in red. How quickly can we stop the opposition playing forwards? Can we block off the vertical, force them backwards and sideways? We've achieved the first objective. Now can we position ourselves between 2 players and hunt that ball down with speed and intensity? When we do force them back, again, our attacking players are positioned between 2 players, curving their run round to apply pressure from the side to put them back in or force or provoke rush mistakes. And because we're so compact, we have success. Last example I'll show, again, we've lost the ball here, so we're looking to block off the passing lanes, get our body between 2 players, stop the first player from playing forwards. Reaction is the key, which we've done. We've forced him into the wide area. Result. Now again, you can see we've got to try and block off his vertical passes. You can see my holding midfielder there is in the passing lane that acts as a central midfielder. Now you'll see my striker come across again to apply pressure from the side in between 2 players. It forces him back into crowded areas, pressure situations. And it's inevitable that because we've got so many bodies around the ball and we're hunting down so quickly in wide areas that we're going to win that ball back.